here to make cake pops today as requested by my friend Shirley. She wanted a tutorial on how to make cake pops, and so here I am doing it. So some of the ingredients you're going to need are
1 already made cake. It doesn't matter what kind of cake you use, so long as it is roughly a cake size and you do not mind smashing it up. I used a pre-made cake mix because I did not feel like baking an entire cake and then smashing it up. 1 can of frosting. It doesn't really matter what you use. I use pre-made obviously, but you're only going to need a couple spoonfuls. So if you have another project you want to use for your frosting, that really helps because now I have 2 cans of frosting because I did want to use different frostings for different cakes. I would recommend if you're using a chocolate cake to use a chocolate frosting, or if you're using a vanilla cake to use a vanilla frosting. 2 boxes of Baker's chocolate. I used white chocolate for the icing because I wanted a very sweet, like frosting kind of flavor. However, you can use whatever you want. You can use dark, regular milk chocolate, whatever you'd like. Some sprinkles for decoration, and some red food coloring. Now, I'm just using red food coloring because I wanted to make pink white chocolate for the frosting on the top of the cake ball. However, it is recommended that you use those like those little chocolate drops that come in all sorts of colors and different flavors or whatever. And the only problem I had with the food coloring is that it did make it a little bit like almost more liquidy and a bit more splotchy looking, only when you looked really, really close. But when it dried, it looked completely fine, and it didn't change the flavor at all. So that's the only problem I had with it. So if you're looking for just a cheap, quick thing to do, just use food coloring. It's not a big deal.
And then some equipment that you'll need is
you're going to need some lollipop sticks for the actual stick part of your cake pop. A large bowl for mixing the frosting and the cake together. Some cookie scoops. Now these are the ones I use because they have them lying around the house. I would recommend using a smaller size than a larger size. I'm not exactly sure the measurements, but these I think are from Pampered Chef or something like that. And they work really well, even for just cookies, but these give you about a nice ball shape when you rub it together. But yeah, I would recommend using a smaller scoop. Do not try to make really, really, really big ones. 1 pot. You're going to just need this for the water for the double boiler. And 1 double boiler. This is for melting your chocolate on later. You're also going to need a stove top, obviously, as we are boiling water and melting chocolate. However, there is no oven needed in this recipe. All you'll need for this is a freezer, and unless you're starting by making your cake, you will not need an oven.
And now that you have all that, we're going to get started. So I'm going to walk off camera for a minute while I pick up my cake, and just got to that before I started filming. So the first thing you're going to need is obviously a cake. I'm going to fix the camera a little bit. Yay! Hopefully that looks a little bit better. So the first thing you're going to need is a cake. I'm using confetti cake, and I just used a cake mix from the store because I am lazy and I do not feel like making an entire cake just to smash it up. Which is what you're going to do. You're going to pick up your cake, you're going to put it in your bowl, and you're going to start punching it and beating the crap out of it. So this I actually enjoy doing with my hands. You can use a spoon, which is why I put it on the ingredients, the things you might need. But I enjoy using my hands because you can get a feel for the texture, and when you put the icing in, once again you can feel like how sticky it is, or how soppy it is, and whether or not you need to throw out your entire mix. I've only made this recipe once before, so I will be glancing over just to make sure that I have the right times and like when to do stuff for the recipe, because you have to freeze this eventually. So I'll need to know when I've got to freeze this. So yeah, you're just gonna mash it up. Sorry about that. Anyways, you're just gonna mash this up. Hopefully you washed your hands. If you didn't, then you're a terrible person, and you should wash your hands. Because if you're gonna put your fingers in food that will be given to somebody else, you should probably wash your hands. So we're going to break this up. It's really going to take a while. Got to make sure it's in little tiny crumbly pieces. And we've got a nice little cake here that would have made somebody very happy if it had just been a cake. But we're going to make cake pops, and we're going to dip them in chocolate and make them tasty and scrumdiddlyumptious. So once you've got about a good consistency of cake, hopefully, there you go. You're going to want to grab your icing. Oh, there's a little bit of a piece there. You're going to want to grab your icing. So you're going to have to wash your hands again after this. So you grab your icing, and you're going to grab a spoon. I forgot to put a metal spoon on the things you're going to need. So I'll probably add that in now. You're going to need a spoon. Open up your icing. And this can be done with any kind of cake, any kind of icing. Just mix it up, have some fun. Oh, by the way, this recipe is from Diva's Can Cook. I should add that in because I am using a recipe from the internet. It is not mine. I did not make it. Because I was clueless on how to make a recipe. So washing your hands again if you want to any touch stuff and that's gross. Okay, so unfortunately I made an error while I was filming back there, and it turns out my camera shut itself off. So I'm going to crumble this up a little bit more just to kind of show you. I added about 1.5, not 2.5, that's too much. 1.5 scoops of frosting, and what you want is something that will become a ball easily, but can still kind of crumble around. That's what you're going to want to go for your consistency. So this is kind of what it looks like right now, if you can see, hopefully. So when you're done that, feel free to eat the rest of your frosting. Put that in the sink. And close up your frosting because you don't need it right now. You don't need any more. So once you're done that, you're going to want to get it into little balls. And also, you should probably have done this earlier. You're going to want to put some water in a pot, and then get the, and get the, a double boiler there, and you're going to want to put it on the stove top, and let that boil. And then once that's boiling, or getting warm enough, you should put your baker's chocolate in there. Once you've got your cake mixture, you're going to want to get a plate, a big plate, because you're going to make a lot of balls. You're going to want to get a big plate. And you're going to get one of these little ice cream scoop guys. I find these are better than actual ice cream scoops because ice cream scoops will get you really, 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 really big scoops. And you don't want that. So you're going to scoop it up into your hands. And get about a little scoop. Like that big. And then you're going to get another one. Scoop that in. And you're going to slowly mix them together. Just rub them together and make a little ball form. So now you've got a little ball. And once you've got that, you're going to put it on the plate. Make sure it's stuck together. Now that you've frozen your cake pops and let them sit in the freezer for about 20 minutes, they'll look like this, probably about the same, only the milk, or the chocolate, the white chocolate has probably hardened by now. You're going to want to start melting your chocolate. Mine's not quite melted yet, so we'll give it some more time. Today I'm going to be putting in some red food coloring to try and make them pink for Valentine's Day. I'm going to be adding red sprinkles to it. You can do whatever you want. Obviously, I'm not telling you what to do, but yeah, we'll wait a couple minutes for that to melt, and then I'll start filming again. So now that we've melted our chocolate, it's going to look something like this. Well, you can see there. There we go. Now you can see our chocolate. It's all nice and pink, and that's just like I said before, what I did for Valentine's Day. You can do whatever you want, depending on the time of year. You could probably put more red food dye in and make it more red, or put green in, yellow, whatever you want to do. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to start dipping our cake pops into the chocolate, and then I'm putting them on parchment paper. If you want to make them stand up, like this, you're going to have to get some sort of a stand. Styrofoam, I know I saw at HomeSense the other day, they had an actual cake pop stand, but I didn't get it because I was stupid. And so I have to resort to putting them on parchment paper, and they'll be sitting like this instead of being up like this. However, it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, so you're going to want to cover the cake pop completely in the chocolate. In the recipe I looked at online, they recommended that you actually put the chocolate into a cup, and then you dip the cake pop in. So your cake pop's gonna look something like that. So it's kind of the color I wanted. So there you go. We have a nice little cake pop. Yum yum yum. And then you're gonna put it there. And if you want to put sprinkles on it, you can put sprinkles on it. I'm putting some red sprinkles on it. Just because. There you go. You're going to want to keep doing that for the rest of the cake pops until they are all completely covered in chocolate. And once you're done your cake pops, the ones that you actually managed to succeed with are going to look something like that. If you can see, there we go. Like that. Oh, so nice, so pretty. The ones that aren't so nice are going to look like that. That is an example of something bad. Or that one. You can see that one. You're going to have them looking like that. You're going to let them sit for a bit. Let them dry. Relax. The mistake I made this time was that I made them too big. So when I put the sticks in, they actually aren't holding on as well because it's so heavy that the chocolate isn't even helping, it just falls right off. So my advice would be make your cake pops smaller than mine. Maybe you take a tiny bit out. I mean, some of them are okay. This guy's okay. I can't take him off because he's still hardening. But some of the other ones, as you can tell, didn't turn out okay. And I had a lot of duds, as you can probably see here. Yeah. My sister should be really happy about that. So yeah, just make sure that you have a good size for them. And I would go with the cup for your chocolate, because that way you can actually completely submerge the cake pop and it will get completely covered. And so that when you're starting to run low on chocolate, you won't suddenly have to use a spoon to scoop it up. And even if you're not running low on chocolate, even if you're like halfway done, you're still like scooping up chocolate and putting it on, and it just makes it look messy and not as appetizing. So yeah, that's about it. Just remember those things, and that's how you make cake pops. Okay, have a good day. Bye.